Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the second in the two Supraphon Charles Mackerras Life with Czech Music boxes. Again, this doesn't have everything he did for Supraphon. It doesn't contain the operas, and there are quite a few of those, which is kind of a shame. We have like Martineau's The Greek Passion, which is like phenomenal, and we have some Janacek, and then, oh my goodness, just tons of great stuff. But we do get some remarkable Dvořák and Smetana. The Smetana part comes last. It's on disc 6. There's six discs here. There we go. It's Vlást, a beautiful performance of Vlást, fresh and charming and lovely and beautifully played and splendiferously recorded. The orchestras here are the Czech Phil and the Prague Symphony Orchestra. I believe that the Vlást is with the Prague Symphony, but I could be wrong. Let me just make sure that I've got it straight here. Here we are. And the rest is, I think, the Czech Phil. Oh, no, it's not all. So let's see. We're going to go through this thing by thing. Oh, it's a Czech Phil. There we go. See, that's why it's good to check. It's good to check the checks, right? The Czech stuff. Anyway, I checked it. And it's a splendid performance of Vlást. Absolutely beautiful. As good as any. I mean, we're talking Talich and Ancherl and the great Vlástists. Kubelik, you name it. It's right up there. But then again, everything he did was like that. I mean, it's just the way he is. So what do we get? Let's see here. CD 1. With the Czech Philharmonic Orchestra, the Slavonic Dances. Oh, this is just beautiful. It's just, oh, and I actually have a story about the Symphonic Dances because I spoke to him about it when he did it. The Slavonic Dances are so wonderful, and there haven't been very many recordings of the complete sets lately, except those that are done every so often in Czechoslovakia or Czechia now, of course. And the most recent ones haven't been that interesting, to be honest with you. I mean, this was the last really, really best one, I think. Although there was one other. There was one other. Who was doing it? Tomáš Netopil, I think, did a good one. Anyway, someone else did a good one. But this is fantastic. It's beautifully played. It has such character and liveliness and rhythmic zest. And Mackerras told me, this is the point. Mackerras said to me that he had a big fight with the principal trumpet at the time of the Czech Philharmonic because the guy was somewhat obstreperous. He was very loud, and he was always like dominating the tutis. And Mackerras was fighting with him to actually observe Dvořák's dynamics, and he finally got him to do it. He said he did, but they did not have the happiest relationship. And Mackerras, for all that he was just about the nicest human being in the world, had no tolerance for inaccuracy in performance when it came to things like that. It's like, using appoggiaturas in Mozart or ornamenting things or doing, if you didn't do what he felt the composer wanted you to do, he could get really annoyed. And so they got really annoyed. But anyway, it worked. It worked out. Next, the Symphonic Variations. What a glorious work that is. We never hear. I played it a few times. I mean, I played the triangle. Big deal, right? It's a good triangle part, actually. And we did this in my community orchestra. We did it when I was in college as well. It seems to be a piece, I guess, that amateur orchestras can do, but it's not that hard, actually. It really isn't. But, oh, it's brilliant. And the concluding fugue is just delicious. Absolutely delicious. And even the tune. The tune is a fascinating one because it has interesting phrase length. Da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da. It's like a 7-bar theme. It's missing a bar, so that instead of normally you'd want to hear da 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 da, just like that to make it balanced, but it doesn't. And the fact that it's a little bit imbalanced makes everything interesting that Dvořák does with it. It's really incredible. And then we've got the 6th Symphony, lovely performance of that, also with the Czech Phil. Symphonies numbers 8 and 9 with the Prague Symphony Orchestra, excellently done. I mean, Mackerras did Dvořák 8th a couple of times, and he did the 9th a couple of times, I believe. But they are all first-class performances. I mean, so I don't need to get into the details more than that, because disc 4 has the complete legends. Oh my God, the legends are so beautiful. And nobody plays them. I've never seen a performance of them live, not even excerpts from them. There are 10 of them, and they are extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary for chamber orchestra. Originally, they were written for piano two hands or something like that, and they were dedicated to Hanslick, the politically motivated anti-Bruckner, anti-Wagner critic in Vienna, who actually was very pleased with them. He was a very conservative guy. He was actually into bel canto, Italian opera, more than anything else. He didn't, he promoted Brahms, but didn't really understand him, and Brahms knew it. So Dvořák, did a little politicking and dedicated the work to him. But wow, they are lovely, and there are things in them that you may have heard before. There's a bit of the for example, the slow movement of the Third Symphony pops up, I think, in number 6 and stuff like that. They're so melodically rich, and nobody knows them. So it was typical, that characteristic of Mackerras, that he would give them, a little zotz, give them a little promotion, so that we could fall in love with them all over again. And that disc contains also an excellent Scherzo Capriccioso and In Nature's Realm, both excellent performances. And then we've got the 4 major symphonic poems: The Water Goblin, The Noonday Witch, The Golden Spinning Wheel, and The Wood Dove. I love these pieces. Oh my God, I love these pieces. They are so brilliant and so much fun to listen to. It always amazed me, that they were generally neglected. I remember, now they're on record, at least on disc, they're quite popular. They've shown up. Even Simon Rattle and the Berlin Phil did them very well, I might add. They're excellent performances. So they've come into their own. But I remember 20, 30 years ago, when we first, started hearing these things, they started popping up on disc. There were recordings by, for example, Kertész and the London Symphony, and Kubelik did them, and that was it. Those were the ones you could get, at least in the West. Neumann had them on Supraphon, and there were other versions on Supraphon, but they weren't so readily available. And the pieces themselves were denigrated rather, harshly, by people who just insisted that because Dvořák was a symphonist and a Brahmsian symphonist, that he had no business writing symphonic poems. And, it may have been that Brahms was horrified that he wrote symphonic poems. Who knows? Who cares? Who gives a damn? They are marvelous pieces. And it was just a wider aspect of Dvořák's genius, that he could do equally well symphonies and symphonic poems and operas and string quartets and choral works and other things. Witness my book, Dvořák, Romantic Music's Most Versatile Genius. Yes, because he was, I think, in the second half of the 19th century, the most versatile composer. He wrote masterpieces in everything he touched. Tchaikovsky ran him a close second, I think. But Tchaikovsky wasn't a chamber music guy, and Dvořák was. And that's really kind of where the difference is. Anyway, we don't need to get into that. What we do need to get into is the fact that Mackerras made gorgeous recordings of these symphonic poems. And then on disc 6, of course, we have Vlást, which we've already talked about. So this, along with that Janáček and Martinu box, which is amazing, but this is also absolutely essential if you care, and you should, about this repertoire. The Smetana and Dvořák pieces are more central to the basic repertoire than the Janáček and Martinu pieces. They're more sort of, interesting, 20th century works. Yet they haven't quite sunk in as deeply, although they deserve to, of course, and they should. But these are remarkable performances of stunning masterpieces that everybody should have in their collections in multiple versions, including, of course, these. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.